We're getting ever closer to the 28th of this month, which is the release of Riders Republic. It's almost within our grasp. So remember guys that we're still in the middle of the 1,000 YouTube subscriber giveaway, in which we are giving a copy of Riders Republic away to whoever comments on the giveaway video, and I'll put that link in the description or probably up here in a card somewhere. Yeah, essentially we need to get to 1,000 subscribers, and if you commented on that video with your preferred platform, then you'll be in for a chance of winning the copy of Riders Republic. But remember, the terms are that we have to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers, so please hit the subscribe button, comment on the video, and do the giveaway once the 28th rolls around. So since I've been making the Riders Republic series, I've been checking the discourse and the comments, and just to see what kind of feel that everybody's got of the game. Discovered that this game is, even before it's out, has been very polarizing. So Riders Republic's spiritual predecessor was Steep, and that was a realistic extreme sports game, or as real as you could get, and it harbored a small but solid active player base. Whilst there was nothing particularly wrong about Steep, it didn't quite grab the attention of the public in the way that Ubisoft, I believe, would have intended it to. So the expansive world in Steep, across all 3 maps, they were great maps, they looked beautiful, and in parts were very well designed, but ultimately they were isolating and very lonely. There was no NPC characters, there was no built-up areas or villages. I mean, there were villages in places, but they were just ghost towns. I personally loved the lonely element of the game, combined with its sound design as well. The only way I ever played Steep was by switching off the music, boosting the ambience and the sound effects, and just get myself lost in the tens of thousands of acres of space you can explore into. But in a weird, self-reflexive way, the game kind of got lost in itself. There were attempts by Ubisoft to try and revive the game years after its initial release with software updates, the inclusion of PvP elements, but all of these sort of major multiplayer updates that you would have found didn't quite live up to the expectations, and if you compared them to other AAA games at the time, it was so completely underpowered it was unreal. So considering that the player base sort of fell off the shelf after a couple of years, I'd imagine the pitch for Steep 2 would have been pretty hard. Ultimately, I think this is why it was rebranded as Riders Republic, and then they took it into a different, braver direction. I'm of the assumption that some of the objectives that Ubisoft Annecy had when looking at the next game to create, which is now Riders Republic, was to sort of compress that emptiness and loneliness that they found in Steep, and then fill that space with lots of stimulus. And not to mention the new disciplines, the new environments that you'll see, and of course the multiplayer capabilities that come along with the modern day. On the surface, this sounds, all great, but the recent arrival of gameplay footage and the beta that a lot of people have played with Riders Republic seemed to turn a lot of heads. Suddenly we were seeing ice cream bikes in the middle of races, loop-de-loop grinds, and just general all-round craziness that you wouldn't have seen in Steep. I guess there's 2 ways to look at it. One way you can embrace the changes that Ubisoft have put forward in their games, or you can stick to your old guns and tradition. But I think to switch NPCs for emptiness is a better direction. So the thought of Riders Republic becoming nothing more than a sort of fantasy, unrealistic SSX ripoff was enough to deter a lot of you people in the comments when we uploaded the videos on the MyMod channel. So when a lot of people played the beta recently, most argued that the game mechanics were drastically different to what you would see in Steep. And on the most part, I would agree with them. It has changed a lot, but that could ultimately be debated as a good or a bad thing. There were a lot of downsides to the mechanics found in Steep, and there are a lot of downsides that I found when I played the Riders Republic beta, but I feel like they're coming towards more of emergence, and you're going to get the best of both worlds eventually from Riders Republic. Of course, we were playing a beta, so there was always the options for Ubisoft to make those changes that people didn't like. But yeah, I don't see where people are coming from when they're upset about the game mechanics. There's a whole new discipline to learn. If you are struggling with the new mechanics on Riders Republic, there is going to be a Steep mode as well, where you can tailor the mechanics back to sort of the Steep days. The only downside that I found to using the Steep mechanics is that you don't have the free aim tool, so you can't look around whilst you're on your bike or your snowboard or your skis. You could do this in steep by holding LB on an Xbox or a L1 on the PlayStation, and you could look around freely, but they didn't seem to have that for the steep controller settings on Riders Republic, and that could be quite a big thing. I think that needs to be changed. Other than these small things, these small niggles, whether it be map design, capabilities, graphics, or even longevity, Riders Republic wins, and it wins by a large margin. So it's just one of those things where you'll naturally hate to see change happen. But I think, you know, when it occurs, if you embrace it and just take it in and go with it for the first few days of gameplay, first couple of hours of playing the game, you will eventually get used to it. And I did start to feel that when I played the Riders Republic beta. I don't think people have got a lot to worry about. I can't wait, and we'll be doing loads of videos on Riders Republic as soon as it drops. Hope you have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one.